Tonight at 10, Jacksonville area residents coming together in Memorial Park to show support for Ukraine 3 years after Russia invaded that country, kicking off an ongoing war. And those who attended the event honor the thousands of Ukrainians who have died in the war.
This comes days after the U.S. government began negotiating peace talks with Russia without including Ukraine. News for Jax reporter Eric Avenay joining us live in Memorial Park after speaking with demonstrators tonight. Eric?
Yes, tonight's demonstration began here in Memorial Park, right in front of this water fountain here. And as you can see, there are still some electric candles that are still on, along with the various signs that say Ukraine is not for sale, stand with Ukraine. Again, Ukraine is not for sale. And this is pretty interesting. Local heroes who died for the freedom of Ukraine. Now, again, everything started here in front of the water fountain and then quickly transitioned to a peaceful march through Riverside.
Українці, усміхнеться доля.
Monday night's Stand With Ukraine demonstration began with the Ukrainian national anthem before speakers honored the Ukrainian men and women who lost their lives after the Russian military invaded Ukraine.
І боротися за нашу волю.
Since the war started 3 years ago, Ukrainians and Ukrainian Americans in Jacksonville have gathered here in Memorial Park to honor the lives of Ukrainians who died during the Russian invasion. They also honor Ukrainians who are still fighting to keep their country.
This year it's even more important because unfortunately it looks like some people, they start forgetting, who was the aggressor, that Russia invaded Ukraine.
This memorial was set up to remember the thousands of Ukrainians who have died during the war, a war that has now raged for 3 years.
Victoria Krosky was born and raised in Ukraine, but moved to the U.S. when she was 20. The images of death and destruction in her home country are too much to bear.
It's definitely devastating to see all the, that we lost the territories, that we lost the cities, that we lost the people.
And how is your family back home? How are they able to cope with all of this?
They just get used to it. I mean, they can't. You can't really cope with it. You just take day by day. It's very hard, absolutely very hard.
An uncertain future.
An uncertain future. And we all hope for the end of it, but of course, it comes with a price.
A price that may possibly include surrendering Ukrainian territory to Russia as part of a negotiation to end the war.
Every malign actor is watching and seeing how they can negotiate after they've taken other territories.
Olga White came to Jacksonville as a refugee fleeing the Russian invasion. She has since married an American man and has settled here in Jacksonville. But she feels for other fellow refugees who are now impacted by the current immigration freeze set in place by the White House to weed out immigration fraud.
Now they don't have any rights. They don't know what to do. They can come back to their homes and they can stay here because all the programs, as I know, is stopped for Ukrainian refugee, and it's really very sad.
Pat Murphy is a Jacksonville resident who took in a Ukrainian family that fled the war. She's protesting the immigration freeze because the family she took in could find themselves being kicked out of the country.
We're terrified and spitting mad. But yes, we're very, very worried about what may happen to them.
After the gathering in the park, hundreds of demonstrators silently marched down Riverside Boulevard with the hopes that more Jacksonville residents would stand with Ukraine.
Back here live, more signs that remain here at the site where that protest was held. Signs like, why should Ukraine pay for Russian aggression? Or it's been 11 years, shouldn't need a poster to state simple facts. Putin is a dictator. Russia invaded Ukraine. Again, we see these signs all throughout this part of the park here. And I must add that unlike other protests that we have seen here in recent years, tonight's demonstration was relatively quick, quiet, and to the point. Reporting live in Riverside, Eric Avenay, Channel 4, the local station.